We are proud to offer a fresh vision for our country in 2019 and in the many years to come. We're just getting started, and we're not disappearing anytime soon. Ladies and gentlemen, Canadians have become disenchanted by leaders who pander to special interest groups to buy votes for special interests. It has become so rare for a political leader to speak with passion and with true moral conviction based firmly upon our principles. When Maxime Bernier started the People's Party of Canada on 14 September 2018, what followed was an unprecedented grassroots political mobilization that counts us in the fastest growing political movement in Canadian history. With over 36,000 members nationwide and 294 riding associations officially registered across the country, the People's Party of Canada is on track to make a huge difference this October and in the years to come. Mesdames et messieurs, je suis extrêmement fier de vous introduire à notre chef. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to introduce you all to Maxime Bernier, leader of the People's Party of Canada.
First of all, thank you very much for being with us this evening. It won't be too long political speech. I'm not used to that. I don't like it also. When you have something to say, it must be precise, short, and you must speak about what you believe in. So that's why we decided to create the People's Party of Canada. And I just want to go back a little bit in September last year. Actually, the 14th of September last year. I did a press conference in Ottawa, and I said, we are launching a new party, a new political party in Ottawa at the federal level that will speak about what we believe based on principles like Alex just told you: individual freedom, personal responsibility, respect, and fairness. And I must admit, I'll give you this one. Can you just take this one? We have two mics, that's why. Oh, yeah. So, thanks. So, I had a lot of people and some journalists. They were saying, it's a one-man party. They won't be able to build a political party in less than a year. It will be a regional party based in Quebec. But I can tell you that right now, after 7 months, we have more than 37 founding members. 37,000 founding members. And if you compare that to my friend Elizabeth May from the Green Party, they have, after 35 years, 19,000 members. So for us, building a party with a lot of members, people who believe in our ideas, that's important. And because of that membership, we were able to build a riding association all across the country in 338 ridings. And I want to thank you. It's people like you all across the country that support our principles, our values, and the way that we are doing politics. And actually, it is very important when you build something to have a vision. And we have a vision. These principles, individual freedom, personal responsibility, respect, and fairness, it is not a slogan for us. It is not buzzword. It is what we believe in. And all our policies are in line with these principles. So when we started the party, that was a big challenge, because I didn't want that party to be based only in Quebec or only in Western Canada, like the Reform Party 10 years, 15 years ago. That was a regional political party based in Western Canada. But I can tell you that our membership, it is all across the country. just for example, Quebec represents 23% of the population, and our membership from Quebec represents 22% of our membership. It's all the same ratio all across the country, except in Alberta. If you want to be a real free market political parties who believe in freedom and free enterprise and entrepreneurship, you must have a strong base in Alberta. And yes, in Alberta represents about 12% of the population in our country, and our membership from Alberta, it's 16% of our membership. So we have a strong base in Alberta and all across the country. And actually, when we started our first rally in October last year, we did that in British Columbia, in Vancouver. And for the first time, we had more than 300 people coming to our rally, listening to a politician from Quebec, speaking with an accent in English, sorry about that, but speaking about real conservative values. And I was very pleased with that. So, why are we successful to build this party? Like I said, it's the ideas. You know, it's good to have the right ideas, but it's better to have the right ideas at the right time. And I think we have the right idea at the right times. When you believe in the Western civilization values, in individual freedom, in free markets, in freedom, you know, we know that we have the solution to build a better, freer, and a more prosperous country. But it's not only the ideas. If you're a political party, you need to have membership. We have membership. We need to have organization all across the country. We have organization all across the country. And we need also to be able to raise money. And actually, today, we know the money that all the others political parties raise for the first 3 months of the year, January, February, and March. So the Conservative and the Liberals, they raised, I think, the Liberals was about $4 million in 3 months, the Conservative about $8 million in 3 months, and the NDP about 1.2 million in 3 months. And for these political parties, that was their best 3 months because we're in election year, and I think it was easier for them to raise money. But for the Green Party, and the Green Party raised $783,000 in 3 months. That was the best quarter for the Green Party. Don't forget, the Green Party exists for the last 35 years. And us, at the People Party, we raised 7,062, thank you. 700, I'm a little bit tired maybe. $762,000 in 3 months. So yes, that's a lot of money. That's almost like the Green Party. But I can tell you that we are spending that money to push our ideas and to speak about our ideas. If you like our logo, thank you, perfect. If you don't like it, it's okay, because we didn't spend $100,000 on a logo. Only $10, and we have our logo. So what I'm telling you, we are using the money very efficiently to build this party, to build the organization. And we are putting money aside also to be ready for the next election. And speaking about the next election, now we are in the process to select our candidates. And we have Andy that is with us tonight, and you'll have a chance to address the crowd with me. And it's great because, you know, usually finding candidates, people were telling me, Maxime, it would be tough to have 338 candidates all across the country. But we need to have at least 304 candidates. Why? Because if we want to be part of the national debate during the campaign, during the election, if I want to debate with Justin Trudeau and Andrew Scheer, the only condition for us is to have 304 candidates. But I can tell you that we will have 338 candidates. And actually, yes. And actually, our goal is to have about 200 and 250 candidates before the end of June. And we are in the process right now. In some ridings, you'll have nomination. And in others, that will be you. That will be our membership who will select our candidates. And so our goal is to have at least 250 candidates before the end of June. And before the end of July, the 338 candidates. And also, we want to be ready for the election. We're a political party, so we'll do a training conference at the end of August with our candidates and with our executive of the Riding Association. We want them to be ready for the election, so we'll have that training conference in Ottawa at the end of August. And also, right now, we are putting money aside to be sure to have the right money to be able to do a very efficient campaign. So what's happening in this country right now? I'm very happy to see some polling and survey that they did. The one important that I'm looking at, 52% of Canadians are ready to vote for a new political party. So, 52% of them, if we can have only half of that, we'll be very successful. But people are asking me question, Maxime, who are these people who are coming with you and be part of that party? I'll tell you an anecdote. We built the Riding Association in Newfoundland. And the head office of the party received a lot of calls from our memberships in Newfoundland because they were mad at us at the head office because they said, all your executive of your riding association in Newfoundland, these people are all NDP. They work for the NDP for the last 5 years, and they're in your executive. We don't understand that as a member of your party in Newfoundland. So what I did, I called, and we had a conference call with the executive of the riding association over there, and I asked them the first question: are you NDP? Are you working for the other party? And they told me, yes, Maxime, we were supporting the NDP candidate for the last 5 elections, but we are with you now. I said, did you read our platform? Did you believe in our platform? And they said yes. They said yes. And we want you to win, and we want to help you to win. I said, we are with you, they said, because of 2 policies that are very important for the poor in this country and for Canadian families. They said, you believe to abolish corporate welfare, giving subsidies to big businesses, and I think it's the right policies, and you are the only politician to speak about it. So it's important for us, and we want you to win. And I said, yes, we can save $5 billion ending corporate welfare, and we can lower taxes to every single entrepreneur in our country with that money. We think that it is not fair to tax a small business owner here in Kingston and forcing him to pay taxes and to give that to a huge corporation like SNC-Lavalin or Loblaws or GM or Bombardier. And actually, the business owner, the entrepreneur in this country, they are asking for that. They don't want to go in Ottawa and pay for a lobbyist and having a kind of a special privilege. They prefer that the government abolish these subsidies and lower taxes for everybody. And that's why we'll be able to have a flat tax rate on business at 10%. So they said that's important for us, and that's part of our policy. Andrew Scheer won't speak about that because it's all about cronyism. It's all about crony capitalism. Actually, in the scandal SNC-Lavalin, I was the only leader of a political party in Ottawa, and I said that in French and in English, in Quebec and outside Quebec, when the journalists were asking questions about that scandal. You know, it's all about, it started because the Liberal government put in their budget, in the last budget, a special clause. We call that the SNC-Lavalin clause, special clause to be able to give a privilege to a corporation like SNC-Lavalin, and being sure that a corrupt corporation won't be prosecuted if something happened. And you know what happened at the end and all that scandal. But the real question is, are you ready to repeal and abolish that clause in the budget that they put in the budget to help the federal government to have a special deal with a corrupt corporation? I was the only politician to say, yes, we will repeal that. We don't need that. We didn't have any clause like that for the last 151 years. So, you know, no corporation is above the law. Why SNC-Lavalin would be above the law? They were telling me because they want to save jobs. But that's not true. And in the beginning, they were saying 9,000 jobs in Quebec. Actually, it's 3,000 jobs in Quebec. But I believe that these people are very good. And if something happened to SNC-Lavalin, if they're going bankrupt, that's okay. These people will be able to find another job in another corporation. So we're not there to protect one corporation. As a politician, we are there to have the best policies that will help all the corporations, every businesses, and no special privilege to one corporation. Too bad that SNC-Lavalin is a corrupt corporation. And I said that in French in Quebec, and the journalists were saying, oh, you won't have any votes here in Quebec speaking like that. I said, no, because Quebecers are intelligent, and they know that it is unfair. And our party is based on one principle, like I said, fairness. Fairness is important for us. And it is unfair to give a privilege to a corporation and putting a corporation above the law. But Andrew Scheer, when he had that question, didn't answer the question. Because in his mind, he wants to have more votes in Quebec. So, traditional politicians are afraid to speak the truth, are afraid because they're pandering and they want to have votes. I'll give you another example in our platform. I was in New Brunswick. I was in Moncton. And I did a rally like that in Moncton. And as you know, if you know the equalization formula, you know it is part of our constitution. The federal government is giving money to the poor provinces. And as you may know, Quebec, it is a poor province, and we receive equalization money for the last 50 years. And I said that in Quebec, in French, that I'm not proud to be a Quebecers when we receive equalization money. Quebec must receive zero money from the equalization because, like that, Quebec would be a rich province. So, all that equalization formula, it is a poverty trap. It is unfair, and we must change it. So I said that in New Brunswick. But as you know, New Brunswick received equalization money. So I said that, you know, we must cut the equalization formula. We must change the equalization formula and being less generous for provinces who receive the money from the equalization formula. We want to give them an incentive to develop their own natural resources. So I said that during the rally, and we received a call from the CBC, and they said, we want you at CBC tomorrow morning at 7:15 on TV. And I said, okay, I'll be there. It was live in TV at 7:15, something like that, the day after. And just before, the journalist asked me, did you speak about the equalization formula at your rally yesterday? I said, yes. She said, it's okay, it's okay. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, live. Mr. Bernier, why are you here in New Brunswick? I said, you know, I'm a new leader. I'm a leader of a new party, the People's Party, and I want to have a lot of support here, and I want to speak to your people about our platform. And she said, did you speak about the equalization formula on your rally yesterday? I said, yes, I did. So, is it true that you want to cut the equalization money? I said, yes, I said that. And she said, do you realize that in New Brunswick, 40% of the budget, the provincial budget in New Brunswick, it's money coming from the equalization money from Ottawa. 40% of the budget in New Brunswick, it's money coming from the equalization money. So she said, do you know that? I said, yes, I know that. So she said, I want to understand. You're here in New Brunswick, you want to have support, and you're telling people in our province that you will cut their provincial budget by 40%. Are you serious? I said, yes, I'm serious. Yes, we'll do it. And she said, oh my God, yes. Yes, I'll do it. And why I'll do it? We'll do that on a transition period first. Second, I said, because people in New Brunswick are proud. They want their province to be richer, and we must change that equalization formula to give the right incentive to your premier in New Brunswick to have the right economic policies at the provincial level. And I said, I'm not the only one who said that. Your new premier said yesterday, it was last week, said last week that he wants Ottawa to cut the equalization money to his province. And it's very courageous for him. And I applaud that. I'm very happy with that. We must have that debate. But the other politicians, they're too afraid to have that debate because they think they won't have vote in New Brunswick. But when I explain that to people, they understand, they're proud. And you know, I had a conversation with some business people in New Brunswick, and they need to develop their natural resources, like shale gas and other kind of gas. But they cannot because the New Brunswick government does not allow that, like in Quebec. So there's no incentive to develop their own natural resources. But we are the only party to speak about that. When I said that in Calgary and in British Columbia and in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, they understand and they said, my God, it's the solution. Yeah, it's the solution for having a country that will be with policies that will be fair for everybody. So that's our position on equalization. But same thing also on pipelines. We need to be able to build pipelines in this country in 2019. And we have a solution for that. We can use the Constitution. We can use a section in our Constitution, 9210. And that will be able to say that an infrastructure like a pipeline, it is for the national interest of our country. And when you use the Constitution and you say that, you have the 100% the jurisdiction and the responsibility to approve pipeline. And everybody knows in my own province in Quebec that it's safer to transport oil and gas by pipeline. It's safer for the environment. It's safer for the population. And actually, we had a huge tragedy in Lac Mégantic in Quebec 6 years ago. They understand that. So I said, if my own province in Quebec or in BC, they're against that, they don't have the authority to approve a pipeline. We can impose, yes, impose after consultation, a pipeline on Quebec or BC. Because if you use the Constitution, you have the full power to approve it. And our goal is to be able to have an agreement with provinces. But if not, we must use the Constitution to be able to build a national infrastructure. And actually, we use that section, 9210, more than 300 times since the Confederation. But we are the only party to say that. So let's have the real debate about what it is important for this country. Another subject that is very important, it's the immigration. I think it's important to speak about that. You know, Justin Trudeau wants to increase the immigration and our new Canadians by 40%, from 250,000 a year to 350,000 a year next year. But only 9% of the population agree with that. Only 9%. But 49% of the population want fewer immigrants. But all the other political parties, the NDP, the Green, the Conservative, the Bloc Québécois in Quebec, the Liberals, everybody, it's always more and more and more. So our position on immigration, I think it's a very rational one and reasonable one. We want to go back to the average of the number of immigrants that we had under Stephen Harper, about 250,000 a year or less. Our immigration system must be there to fulfill our economic needs for our country. Thank you.